Chapter 3: The Truth About the Spirit World. This chapter is the initial stage of my astral journey into the spirit world, in my search for the truth of the spirit world. Thus, the truth of the sacred consciousness of the spirit world is far from reach of the logical mind, as the wisdom of the sacred consciousness of the spirit world will only be revealed to one who is willing to accept one's very own spiritual truth. This is because truth itself is derived from true love, beyond the understanding of mankind. So, if one is willing to leave behind one's very own worldly desires and start searching for the sacred meaning of spirit world and afterlife hidden within the space, time, and matter of the sacred consciousness of the spirit world, one will then attain the wisdom of spiritual truth that enables one to understand the secret mysteries of the spirit world. Soul purification of the seven spirits. Later that night of the very same day, a spirit was mischievous in my home. I once again went on an astral journey to see what really had been happening in my home. A creepy, ugly old lady in my astral journey. Upon checking out the astral bathroom of my home, it surprised me to find a creepy, ugly old lady. Her hair almost filled up the whole bathroom space. I immediately told her that I did not have the intention to harm her, and requested that she did not show herself as she appeared to me then, since I was going to help her. As a result, that old lady then showed me her actual self, young and pretty. Soul purification. I next asked Uriel what needed to be done. Uriel then told me to request Gabriel to help bring all of us to a place to perform soul purification for that young and pretty lady spirit. All at once, all of us together with the same 6 lady spirits earlier were at a stream nearby, a waterfall of crystal clear water. Uriel then instructed me to lead all 7 lady spirits one by one into the stream, where I placed my hand on their heads before submerging them briefly into the stream. The 7 planes and the luminous city. After the cleansing of the 7 lady spirits had been performed, the young and pretty lady spirit who had come into my home thanked Uriel, Gabriel, and me and said that the 7 of them were now ready to go up, where I was requested to escort them. All 7 lady spirits were clad in white robes, but only the one who had come into my home had become luminous. Suddenly, there was a white, bright light like a cloud covering us, and it started to ascend. When the bright light stopped for the first time, I started to count, as I was aware that our first stop was the first plane. Every time the bright light stopped for 2 seconds, I could see a change of surroundings. I counted a total of 7 planes altogether. An ancient tall and huge gate on the 7th plane. I could no longer see that we were within the bright light. The luminous spirit had gone ahead of me very quickly till I could not catch up with her. I saw her going through an ancient tall and huge gate, and I followed her from behind. When I opened the gate, I could see that she was extremely far ahead, heading towards a luminous city. I then decided to go back to check on the rest of the 6 young lady spirits who were behind me. Gate of Birth. When I turned back to check on those 6 young lady spirits, I saw them going through another narrow gate which resembled a vagina, known as the Gate of Birth. I wanted to follow them, but Uriel stopped me, for he informed me that those spirits had decided to return to Earth to be reborn. Unguided astral travel. As an astral healer, I often traveled into the astral to find clues for both the physical and spiritual healing of others. However, I had never explored the spirit world to gain a deeper understanding of the consciousness of the spirit world, until I had decided to explore it through unguided astral travel. On September 25, 2018, I started my first astral exploration deep into the spirit world, minus any guide. This was because I just wanted to explore the spirit world, depending merely on the knowledge that I had about the existence of the 7 planes, as well as on the information from my biological brother about a familiar spirit who was still in the lower planes of the spirit world. During my astral journey, I suddenly appeared to be following a portal that looked like an underground tunnel made of seemingly solid brown light energy. I then found myself standing near a natural lake familiar to me, which was located about 1,000 kilometers away from where I had started my astral journey. While looking around near the lake, I saw a bright light in between 2 trees, which brought me to another plane, the first plane. The first plane. In the first plane, I arrived at another lake that appeared like the lake I had reached earlier on in the physical world before entering this first plane. However, the lake in this first plane was untouched by human activity. I was aware that the first plane was a duplicate of the lake in the physical existence, but not exactly similar. Only the lake itself was similar, yet its surroundings differed because of missing human activity. I stood looking up at a big tree, and there, a bright light that came down brought me up to the second plane. The second plane. In the second plane, I reached a damp place that seemed like a partially dried up swamp. Upon exploring the second plane, I became aware of signs that this plane was inhabited. Later, I saw an area of young jungle with fences made of living medium logs placed very tightly to each other, as though nothing could put them apart. Suddenly, I saw 3 unfriendly-looking spirits at one corner of the fenced-up area, about to approach me. I immediately realized that I was not at the right place at that very moment and decided to retreat as fast as I could. I managed to escape into the jungle grounds by gliding backwards at an extreme speed, and soon after, I found another portal that transferred me to another plane. The third plane. In the third plane, I found that all the plants were getting drier and drier and that some of them were already dead, as the place was besieged by extreme drought. While walking through the dried-up land, I came across a patch of land that looked like another partially dried-up swamp. I then found a plant where water beneath it flowed out gradually before increasing in amount, and at once, I realized that it was a portal. The fourth plane. When I touched the flowing water beneath the plant, I was transferred to another plane, the fourth plane. This time, I arrived at a very old lake in a virgin jungle. This lake was full of fish, as if resources were abundant in this plane. In fact, I even could use my mind to stir the surface of the lake till it caused the fish to become aggressive. Furthermore, my nose could even detect a fresh fishy smell coming from the lake, a sign that there was abundant fish in the water. However, after reaching the fourth plane, I did not continue my astral journey anymore, as I felt too exhausted, drained of energy, and because I felt that I had gone too far into the spirit world. Nonetheless, from this initial exploration of mine into the spirit world through astral journey, I found each plane to somehow relate to the physical plane. Astral journey without a guide too dangerous. I realized that an astral journey without a guide was far too dangerous, for it was as if I had been going to each plane through the back door. However, I had somehow sensed the presence of the familiar spirit mentioned earlier to me by my biological brother, when I was in the fourth plane. All the same, I was made aware that all future astral travels of mine would be guided. Maintaining the purity of the astral staff. Prior to my actual guided astral journey, my biological brother had told me to recharge my astral staff at least once a year. So, the following night during my astral journey, I told my astral guide Uriel that I needed to recharge my astral staff. Uriel then instructed me to hold my astral staff upright. Immediately, a light appeared before me in 3 colors: red, green, and silver white. Later, I found myself ascending through nothingness and reaching a place that looked like a waterfall, but with water in semi-solid form. At the middle section of the base of the waterfall was a greenish semi-liquid jelly-like whirlpool, which was moving relatively slowly. Uriel then told me to put my astral staff inside the whirlpool. The moment the staff went into the whirlpool, I could see a black aura being sucked out from the staff before slowly disappearing back into the greenish semi-liquid jelly-like whirlpool. After that, Uriel told me to collect my astral staff from the pool, as the cleansing process of the black aura was completed. Later, I drifted horizontally to another place that seemed like a place where lightning was being formed. Uriel then instructed me to throw my astral staff inside the lightning, causing it to be lit up by powerful lightning. After the lightning disappeared, I found myself holding my staff before starting to descend. At this moment, I realized that my astral staff had just been upgraded for the first time. The three-headed beast. When I looked under my feet, we were about to descend into a swamp. Uriel then told me to put my astral staff into a hole on the ground before my feet touched the ground, and I did as I was told. The place where I was standing was surrounded by a body of black water, and from the look of the surrounding area, it made me feel uncomfortable. Uriel then told me to dip my astral staff into the body of black water in which, he had mentioned to me, lay a beast. The moment I dipped my astral staff into the water, a beast-like eel with 3 heads came out of the water but died before reaching us. Uriel told me that I was then ready to travel into the spirit world. The meaning of the 3-headed beast. Later, I asked Uriel the meaning of the 3-headed beast. Uriel explained that the body of black water represented the condition of the spiritual plane, while each head of the 3-headed beast respectively represented the world, evil, and desires of the flesh. According to Uriel, I had already overcome all those 3 spiritual temptations and, therefore, was ready to travel into the spirit world.